Thought we was jamming.
Oh, I think so. We're rolling.
Yeah, you're rolling.
Digitally.
Digitally, we're rolling.
Yep. Welcome to the show, everyone. We're the Bash Brothers. I'm Chef Dre. This is Mountain Matt. He's high. I'm not.
Just throw me under the bus.
What the fuck?
All right, so this is going to be a discussion show where we're going to talk about some things Matt's got on his list over there. He's been doodling and working hard. I'm proud of him. He's sketched it.
Don't let people see my terrible handwriting. I sort of write in terrible code almost. Yeah. So usually we do a little bit of research before the show, but we're here for a little bit of extra time here on a holiday, and we're going to come up with some stuff off the cuff and see how it works out.
We're keeping Kenny away from the barbecue. All his friends.
Damn. Want some barbecue. All right, so I guess we'll talk about some BDSM topics, if you're up for that.
Yes.
I think we've discussed on the show before that we met at a BDSM party, and we briefly mentioned that we sort of hosted parties and stuff together. I don't really know about how many questions I have following that up, but
what does it look like when you host a party? Let's talk about that. How to do that properly. What are some of the key elements you need to have to host an event properly?
Privacy, security.
All right, slow down there, Tigger. Slow down.
What the fuck?
Dre got a new toy today. And we've made some of our own samples, and it is turning out to be great.
So, yeah, we can talk
idea.
about some of the things that you need to have a successful event.
Yeah. Everybody that is not listening, it's not used to listening, that Dre and I are into the BDSM lifestyle. And we, like to go to events and parties and stuff like that. It's okay.
Yeah.
Everything all right?
Yes, we do. I would know you were in the middle talking. You just stopped. Screw.
So we'll make sure.
Man, that's ghetto as fuck.
Almost just
So
want
you're
to make
saying
20
privacy's needed, right?
I tell you what, let's talk about some less serious shit. We'll talk about that some other time. Let's talk about how stupid tiny homes and living in RVs is. Like this become part of the modern culture where people want to leave their house and go live into an RV or a tiny home.
That's not a good idea.
Have you ever spent time in a tiny home or an RV?
I've been in an RV a few times, but no
ever
tiny homes.
lived
No, I've never
in an
lived
RV?
in an RV. No.
I once upon a time lived in an RV during the summer.
How old were you?
What?
How old were you?
22, 23.
So in your
22.
prime.
It didn't feel like my prime. We went to clean up a piece of land that basically had a disaster on it, and we're going to put something else there, and we decided to stay in a camper, me and my girlfriend at the time. And it was a fucking nightmare. I hated it.
Was it a camper or was it an RV?
An RV.
Okay.
Yeah, a recreational vehicle. But, it was like one of the ones that sort of got like a van front and a, pretty decent size back, had a kitchen, bathroom, all that stuff in it.
What'd you hate about it? It wasn't big enough?
Man.
It was too hot?
Well, once you get the AC figured out, that's all right. But just the space and the cleanliness of it, it's really hard to maintain that. Fucking tiny homes. I see a lot of people going to move into it. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna sell our house in the city and go move into a tiny home somewhere. I'm thinking I just want to warn them. I don't want to crush their dreams. I'm you don't want to do that. It's miserable. Being that close with somebody in there for that amount of time. Going on vacation's one thing, but fucking living in one, it's like an impossibility. You can't even have an extra pair of shoes, really, like, because there's nowhere. Like, you have to plan exactly what you need. Like, you can only have a few items. The floors get dirty incredibly fast. The beds suck generally.
What do you like most about a tiny home? There's got to be one thing. Like, if you had to take away one thing from it.
I mean, it's cheap, I guess.
Yeah. So
It's
low
cheap.
cost of living.
Yeah, but it's not really. It's like, it seems like that. It seems like that up front, but it's not really. Like, if you want to park somewhere or set up somewhere that's like, other than having your own piece of land, if you want to do that, you're going to be spending a lot on lot rent, because a lot of places, they require the whole year up front for like an RV lot if you're going to be staying there long term. Like, you got to break off that huge chunk of money right there to stay at the place. Now, this was like down at the beach and other places that I checked out, but you've got that. You don't have a laundry situation, so you've got to go do your laundry at the laundromat or something like that. You know, you got to have some sort of solution, unless you got a $1 million fucking RV, and then you're probably not living in it if you got that. So I think a lot of unseen costs pile up. The extra cleaning, I mean, just the fucking dust inside there is ridiculous. Like,
In the RV.
like if you're like in there for a while.
But what about like
living-
a tiny home though? Like if it was just like a tiny.
Imagine that would be the same damn thing.
What
I've
is a
lived in
tiny
a
home?
1-bedroom apartment before, and that's
home. What is it? What classified as a tiny home? What's 800 square foot? What is that? I don't know what it is. I'm asking. I'm asking.
probably
You.
less than that. You've seen people that build those like
I mean, I've seen the
homes-
show a couple times on the TV.
where
Tiny
they build
homes.
them on trailers and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. One of those. That's
did,
a tiny
did they
home.
ever? I didn't ever watch that show too much. Did they ever talk about the downside of living in one?
No, but they look pretty dope when they finish building them.
Yeah, that's the fucking gimmick. They trick you into that shit. Like, oh yeah, you're gonna live your life in a yeah. You
Man,
can't
that's
get
ghetto as fuck.
yeah, you can't get away from anybody. Like, it's like you can't have space to yourself. Like, it's just
Inside you can't.
yeah.
I mean, but you're not always inside, right? Like,
Yeah, but I mean, you can go outside and shit like that.
I mean, I'm just trying to see
obviously.
the other side of the fence. Like, you absolutely don't like tiny homes. I'm just trying to see. Well,
Imagine if one person.
It seems to be a big push nowadays. So then,
That's what I'm trying to warn people about. I've got other things on my list. Like moving off grid. It's so stupid. I know I was talking about that just a little while ago, but you need to set. I wasn't talking about like living off grid. I was talking about living in the country. You still need, community support to live anywhere is the way I feel about it. But yeah, I just want people to really consider the reality of living in a tiny home before they make a really stupid move and go buy one. Yeah. Or decide to go live in an RV or a van or anything like that. It's going to be fucking rough. It's going to be way rough and way more expensive than you think. Yeah.
there you go. That's about Matt's advice about.
What do you think
living
about 'em?
small? I think they can be useful if it's depending on what time of your life you're in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to trash somebody that's got to live in one.
Well,
or
no,
like-
no. I'm just saying, just like you could just be like you could be young in your 20s wanting to live in an RV because you want to bounce around a little bit. And I could see that being. And there's another person, just like call that person a roommate, that wants to bounce around because they're in their 20s too. So it's just a couple of 20s, a couple of little hippies
Yeah.
living in an RV, living,
Yeah, I mean, that's
living
what
their
the-
best life from 22 to 26.
Yeah, that's cool. Just don't make it a long-term plan. It's not going to work out.
'Cause
You're gonna want space. Like, you need space to grow. That's part of life. Like, set your time period that you're gonna do that and have a plan to get the fuck out of the RV. Like, don't get trapped into that.
it sounds like you have some trauma.
Yeah, trauma. You were talking about the air conditioning, and yeah, we had problems with the air conditioning at one point. We're only able to run a fan because we couldn't open the windows because these little fucking gnats would come in through the
My air
screen.
conditioner broke in El Paso one time. It was hot as fuck, but I still live in a house.
Yeah, it's a house. You can sit there with your balls out in front of the fan and stuff like that.
You can in your little RV too.
Hard with two people, man. You ever seen the beds and them things? Like,
One of them can be the fan.
yeah. I'm telling you, it's different. It's different.
I'm just saying, from a non-biased opinion over here.
And then you got this whole fucking
sound
thing.
Like you got some trauma.
Yeah, man, you got
Some
this whole
hidden
thing
trauma.
hanging over your head that you're living in a camper and shit. Like, it's just not good. Like, I couldn't even make it a whole
I
summer.
feel like we should unpack
yeah.
your feelings about this trauma. You got some.
I just did.
You got
yeah.
some hidden stuff there,
Fucking
man.
floors dirty instantly every time you walk in. Yeah.
Always cleaning the floors.
Yeah, you can't put that jar in the refrigerator if you wanted to. Like,
It wouldn't fit.
like fuck. Yeah, you can't buy a big pack of chicken. That's not happening. Like, you can't do it. Like, that's what I'm saying. There's hidden cost in there where you have to. You're not gonna save on buying in bulk or anything like that. Like, yeah, you can't keep your summer and your winter clothes.
How did that work out with your roommate?
What, the bathroom?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good situation. It's very small. I was smaller then too, though. Yeah. A lot of people use like compost toilets and shit these days. You know what that is?
Yes.
They just put sawdust on it and shit like that. My brother lived like that for a little while.
I got a buddy that's into composting. He talks about it a lot. I don't want to say no names.
Yeah, that's what the preppers really need to get down with. I wonder if any of them have a compost pile. That's the
I think
best
you know
way
who
to
I'm
prep.
talking about. He's one of the 6 subscribers we got. Shout out to the biggest fan, Marco.
I thought you were joking on me, but we do have we do know. Yeah. Compost.
So, what else? What else don't you like about small homes?
Let's move on to hippies. Stupid hippies.
Are hippies?
I got
still
a lot
around?
of firsthand experience with
Matthew,
them.
are hippies still around?
Oh yeah, big time. They're not just around; they're multiplying.
Are they up in the mountains with you?
There are hippies up in the mountains. Yes, I tend not to associate with hippies, but I do have.
No.
I
For the
I am
for
in
the
the
listeners,
hippie circle.
for the listeners, define what a hippie is to you.
Oh man, come on.
I need that sound. That's the sound bite.
My brother's in that. My brother, well, I'm pretty sure he's
fuck?
kind of. My brother was in that circle of people, and he still is associated with some of those people, but I think he kind of seen the light and came out of it. Like, they're, man, I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate talking about hippies. First off.
Well, I don't know what a hippie is to you. It could be the same to me.
Man, you know what a hippie is. You've been.
I know what it is to me. I want to know what it is to you.
I tell you what.
You tell me what a hippie is.
You go to Asheville, North Carolina, and leave your car unlocked, and you'll find out what a hippie is real fast.
Because they break in my car? That's a thief,
the ones
not
up
a
there
hippie.
will. The ones up there will.
Okay, so someone in California
I'm just
breaks into
kidding.
my
I'm
car.
just kidding. Hippies aren't a bunch of criminals. That's not what I'm getting at. I mean, a lot of them are criminals. In one way or another. Some of them smell criminal, that's for sure. But let's talk about...
It sounds like you got some trauma with a hippie.
yeah, I do.
Was this hippie in your family?
Yeah. Not by blood, but yes.
So it was forced. It was a hippie that was forced upon you. Listen, I'm starting to unpack this trauma.
In certain, yeah, in certain regards, but yes. And I had a lot of close encounters with hippies, and I found out a lot of them are hypocrites. And
I know a lot of Christians like that. So are they hippies?
what?
Christians. A lot of hypocrites there too.
I mean, there's hypocrites everywhere you go,
True.
but it seems to be particularly prevalent in the hippie society.
Am I part of that society? Because you still haven't really told me what you think. I might be a hippie to you.
You don't smell like patchouli to me.
Yet. Right now.
Do you have any gemstones in your pocket? Like, do you have any crystals in your pocket?
Depends on which pair of
Do
cargo
you
shorts I got
have
on.
like roll-up cigarettes on you or anything like that?
No, but
Are
I
you
vape.
wearing anything made of
Just
hemp?
vape. What hat am I wearing? The thing.
Okay, are you wearing more than 10% hip at any point in time?
Okay. No.
Okay.
All right.
Do you
I was
know how-
starting to sweat a little bit. So maybe I'm a hippie. All of a sudden.
Do you know how to make baskets out of trash bags or like, recycled plastic? I don't know what the fuck they do really, besides drugs.
Man, that's ghetto as fuck.
Ghetto as fuck. Those dreads stink. Shit, cut them the fuck off. Oh man, yeah, hippies. I'll tell you what. If you're fucking like, I mean, do you think like you? Yeah, I do have a lot of animosity towards them for whatever reason. I think whenever I see somebody that's representing as a hippie, I don't even want to like. I'm like, yeah. I'm just
And
gonna
they
stay
could be
away
like a
from you.
really great person. You wouldn't even know.
That's the thing. A
'Cause
lot
you're
of
so
them.
guarded
That's the
because you
problem
think-
I have with them is a lot of them pose as a really good person, that they're in tune with the spiritual world and all this shit, but really, a lot of them are shitheads that you can't count on or anything like that. They'll fuck you over. They'll lie. Like they have no scruples, but they'll sit there and act holier than thou. And I
Well,
think
a lot
that's
of people
the
that
problem I
fit
have.
those categories, though.
Yeah, like who?
Like people that lie and steal and cheat. And,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I don't think that classifies someone as a hippie though. Just because
I'm not
they're
saying
they're a shitty person.
I'm not saying that, man. I've met good people in the hippie world. I'm not trashing all of them.
Yeah.
But I'm saying a lot of the ones that I have met are very, I don't know, man. Like when they're claiming to be vegan and shit, and then they're fucking doing rails of Molly and shit like that. You're like, like they want to take care of their bodies, but at the same time,
And they like small, tiny homes.
yeah. They might not be living in those tiny homes, but they're damn sure helping to perpetuate that bullshit. And another thing, goddamn, I'm gonna touch on another thing I've been seeing on Facebook left and right. I've been hearing it for years. Y'all probably heard about it too, where people are like fucking chewing people out for having lawns. Like, oh, you shouldn't have a lawn. You should have a vegetable garden in your front yard or like that, like grass kills and all this shit. Have you seen that? Has anybody seen that?
No,
You know what I'm talking about? There's like this.
I haven't seen it.
There's this like, and I go on there and look in the comments.
Is it a
sometimes.
group?
It's like an idea that gets spread around that your lawn, because it requires chemicals, which not all of them.
I'd
do.
like to post a picture of my big ass yard so they could tell me all the things that I could put in there.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like vegetables?
I don't care what they say. I just post a picture of my yard because I got a lot of grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they'll say that you're murdering the bees with your lawn.
I know. Feed me. Feed me your hate. Bring it.
Yeah, but-
like, look, hey, I'll tag you in it and be like, hey, Mountain Matt, look how fucking edged this big ass lawn is. And it is, I got a huge.
It's just what I'm saying is the idea. I'm gonna tell you why it's ridiculous in a second, but like it goes along with that whole idea of everybody jumping on the bandwagon so fast with these ideas because they sound good in theory, like, but in practice it's ridiculous. And I feel like a lot of the hippies are caught up in these ideals that are fucking ridiculous when it really comes down to brass tacks. And that's kind of like that whole fucking idea of getting rid of your lawn and planting a garden in your front yard.
Did that come from hippies?
It had to come from somebody that's never had to maintain a piece of property. Like they have no fucking idea what it takes to maintain a piece of property. Like a garden is in a specific spot for a reason. Like it's because it may have to sit fallow for a while where it needs time to rest, or in between seasons where it's not going to be maintained and shit like that, or maybe you broke your back and you can't fucking garden anymore, you know what I'm saying? You can't, like if this is your whole yard right here, right? Like, how much space can you really manage, you know what I'm saying, as a garden? Like, this is a lot of work to be growing a garden in. You understand that? Like, but if you only have this as your garden, That's okay. You can let that sit. But meanwhile, something happens and you can't maintain this shit. It's growing wild as fuck, and it can't be maintained. Like this can all be maintained with a lawnmower, real nice and easy. Like one person can do it in about an hour. You know, you can even hire somebody to do it. You know what I'm saying? Be real fucking easy and cheap to get that much lawn maintained. Right?
I feel like there's some trauma about this.
I'm tired of people spreading this fucking bullshit on the internet. And I look in the comments and I'm like, there's no blowback on it. They're all like, yeah, save the bees. Yeah, everybody should be doing this. I hate when I see people with green grass in their front yard and shit. And I'm like, these people are fucking retarded. They've never cut grass. They've never been on a weed eater in their entire life. They've never had to clear like 2 years of unkempt garden. You know, like they never have. Like, so that fucking idea is stupid. If you've read it and like jumped on the bandwagon, like,
well, I'd like to hear somebody from that side talk about their opinion about it.
yeah, all you gotta do is find that thing on the internet. And
That,
like,
that would
hey,
be a
huh,
good guest right there.
Yeah.
We should get that guest, Kenny, on the show.
Please bring me
someone that is pro
yeah.
garden, 100%
Yeah.
garden,
And
no
listen.
fucking yard, 100% garden. Email the show, the Bash Brothers Show at gmail.com. Email us and I'll get you on here. I'll
Just
tell
for
you
the
exactly where
record,
to go.
I know about permaculture and all that sort of stuff. I know about that, but I also know what it takes to maintain land and livable space.
And just for
So,
the record,
fucking come at me.
don't even have to know what permaculture means, and you can still be a guest
Yeah.
on the show.
And I'll
So,
dismantle your patchouli smelling ass with the quickness, I promise you.
yeah, hippie.
Fucking hippies.
I knew you was gonna say
Crystals
hippie.
don't do anything. You're stupid.
You did not just say that.
You can't talk. Put you in the corner.
And if you think crystals can actually help you, email the show. I'll have you as a guest on the show. You can bring your patchoulis, whatever that is or is not, and bring your gems and jewels, and I'll talk to you about them. Wow, you can explain it all to Mountain Matt. Email us, thebashbrothershow at gmail.com.
Yeah, come at
All
me.
right.
I got something else to piss people off. I can't stand like modern Marvel movies. I don't understand what's going on. I think it's like I can't even look at the screen. My brain doesn't even like. There's no fucking plot going on. There's nothing real on the screen. It's
You don't
a
like
bunch of,
Spider-Man?
computer shit.
You don't like Spider-Man?
Never liked Spider-Man.
What about the comic? Like the comic
No,
book?
I didn't like it. I do like certain things. Like I used to like I still watch Batman movies when they come out. I like Batman movies.
So it's exceptional to Batman.
It's really like the fucking Avengers and shit like that. All that
is
stuff.
it geared towards all the Avengers particularly?
Yeah, I can't watch any of that shit.
I feel like there's some trauma right there.
There's no trauma. It's just like I guess I like
Does
movies.
that take you back to a bad time?
Nah, I just like real films, and when I look at that, it looks like a.
You don't like
arcade
Iron
game.
Man?
I like the first or second one, and then like I just got lost in it. It was too much CG. My brain just shuts off when I see that much computer generated imagery, and like there's nothing funny about it, or there's nothing serious about it. It's just a bunch of explosions and light flashes and shit like that, and it's to me it makes no sense. I do not understand how they're so popular.
Do you think that they were written by hippies? You want to throw those in the category with?
Don't get me started on California.
Okay, all right.
I just don't get it. I wish somebody could maybe explain that to me, because from what I mean, I like movies and I like.
Man,
I even
I
like
got a
fantasy
14-year-old at school. You on it all day. He'll tell you the origin stories and this
I
one.
mean, I get the story. I used to watch X-Men and shit like that. I get all that. It's just the format of those movies is like, I don't know. I just don't see how people can, like, how their fucking cortex can sit there through one of those films. Like, it is incredibly mind-boggling to sit there and watch one of those fucking things.
I think something's wrong with your adoubla oblongata.
Why? I'm fast as fuck, man. Like, yeah, like I played video games growing up and shit like that. I drive fast as fuck. Like, my medulla oblongata is just bueno.
What's that got to do with how fast you are?
Huh? What do you mean?
Visually.
Well, I know that's the part of your brain that controls your temperament. You're saying there's something wrong with my temperament?
Yeah.
Because I don't like hippies?
Or RVs, or tiny houses, or saving the world,
I mean, I got life experience on it. I mean, I'm not just speaking out of
or
my ass.
Iron Man, or any of the Spider-Mans.
The first couple Iron Mans were pretty cool, and then I was just like,
You
what
like
the
you like
fuck?
Bruce Wayne's ass
How
for
many
some damn
Iron Man
reason.
robots are there?
I
Like,
don't know why you only like Bruce Wayne, but fuck the Hulk and Thor and all them son bitches.
Yeah. The Hulk's pretty cool, I guess, but like I don't like the new movies.
He's
like,
got most CG. He's got a lot of CG.
the old one. What was the older one with him smashing the tanks and shit? That was pretty cool because it was only like a little bit of CG in there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's just a little bit of CG.
Yeah.
Smash tanks.
yeah, like when the whole fucking thing's like that, it's like it's just too much for me. I can't stand it. I don't even like looking at it. I don't even. Everybody talks about them. I just void it out of my mind. It's like, oh. Don't need to know about that. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know how many, there's a lot of them coming out. I think we're done here.
Well, what else you gonna bash on? What else do you hate?
I don't hate a lot of things. Those are just some of the things that I wanted to get out there. Got a platform now. I'm not gonna let this shit stay in these hippies. I'm gonna fight back on that bullshit, man. That bullshit. They get all the people believing that shit too. Fucking shame on them. Anyways,
Wait, all them people.
man, that spirit, all that fucking like.
I don't believe nothing nobody tells me.
You haven't spent a lot of time with hippies either.
Well, I don't spend a lot of time with people.
They get you, and then they get you on the drugs, and then they start brainwashing you with their crystal
What
bullshit.
drugs? What drugs? What drugs do you speak of? Like, is it
I
like
don't
black
do
tar
drugs.
heroin?
I don't
or-
do drugs, man. I don't know.
Like, I don't know what level of drugs or narcotics you're trying to, like put with the hippies. Because when I hear hippies, I think like the '60s Woodstock and a lot of reefer and LSD.
Mm-mm.
That's what I think of when I
You
think of
haven't
hippie.
spent much time with modern hippies. Is my mic still good? Sounds a little funny.
It's a weird way of asking them. Yeah, I heard what you said.
Okay. It sounds like my left cut out or something. You gotta be quicker than that, man. Come on. What you got? Yeah. Hippies. Anyways.
Turn your mic around. Yeah, now talking to it.
Like this?
Yeah, it sounds better.
Okay.
I bet a hippie could have done it the right way.
Bet.
They're one directional. You have to talk.
That's perfect. What else? What else the fuck's on here? You want to talk about food trucks?
I like food trucks.
Yeah,
I guess you're gonna bash on those too.
No, I don't want to bash on. I don't eat from them very often, but I like
Is there
the
a
fact that
particular
they
reason
exist. What, that I don't eat at them?
You try to avoid them, or like you'll eat at it if you have to.
Yeah, I'll eat at it if I have to, or like I don't know. I used to eat out of them more like when I would be driving a truck and stuff like that. I guess now I have my particular restaurants that I like to go to and stuff like that. But I like seeing the food truck business explosion that's going on that I see everywhere. I think it's really cool. I probably should eat it more.
Turn it towards you. Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah.
We got it. No, I like it. I think it's cool. In Fayetteville, there's like an explosion happened with the food trucks. They're all over the place. I think it's awesome. There's lots of different like cuisine coming into the city and stuff like that.
A lot of cool ideas. I like it. I think it's really cool. Yeah, I'd like to go where, where I think it's cool when they have all the food trucks come to one place.
Food Truck Friday. That's what it's called in my neck of the woods.
Oh yeah, that's cool. You ever been down there?
Yeah.
That's cool. They do some
It's hot-
original
it's hot
stuff,
as-
right?
It's hot as fuck though. Like, you go, it's just
Street we go to all the time.
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of people.
yeah, that's cool.
A lot of people. It's hot.
It's at a brewery, so there's like 5 to 10 trucks out front. You can get the food, go inside the brewery where it's air conditioned, drink your beer, eat your food. Fantastic.
Hell yeah, that sounds cool.
Too many people for me.
Yeah, but the concept is cool.
Yeah. No, I
People
I
that like to
food
go
trucks.
out, like I think it's really awesome.
Yeah, you can buy them relatively, good price points now. Actually, it's not that hard to get in on. It's just the upkeep or the everyday cost.
Yeah, it's a lot of work too on
Yeah.
that.
Well, it is. Yeah, because you got your menu and you got your prep.
Yeah, yeah. Just
Yeah.
coming up with the concept and
Getting all of it down, that's a lot of work.
But I've eaten off some good ones, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got any favorites or like ones
don't
you were
know.
impressed with?
Excuse me. I don't know the names. I can't remember the names of them. But the kimchi tacos I've had before.
Kimchi what?
Tacos.
Kimchi tacos? I like kimchi and tacos. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool. There's a couple of them back home. Like there's one of them just moved out of town. Anyways, I follow a few of them on Facebook. A lot of cool like fusion stuff going on. I think it's really cool. You got any subjects? You got anything you want to talk about? I know you don't have anything written down. You got anything you want to talk about? What happened with your week this week?
Oh man. Kids.
Put that damn phone there.
I'm
What you doing?
looking at my. You asked me. You got anything you want to talk about? I'm gonna pull up my
Yeah,
list.
out of your head, man. You got
Let me
anything?
Pull up my list. I'm over here smoking weed. You
I
asked
know
me to
you
just come
high
out
as
there.
hell. I know.
Can't get you.
Okay, I got.
I might ask you some BDSM questions if you ain't got nothing good.
If you could know the exact day that you would die, would you want to know?
Man,
Just the day. You don't know the how or the exact moment, just the day.
no.
No?
No.
Any particular reason why? You'd rather be shocked, just surprised. Right, like as it's going to be right now.
You ain't gonna plank. Keep your hands above the table, goddamn.
I'm not supposed to take you out, man. I'm just If you could know the day, you wouldn't want to know it, huh?
Hell no, man. I'm too anxious for that shit. I'd be fucking sweating it. I'd be trying to get too much done before that day.
Yeah, I think I'm the opposite. I think I would want to know. But I think
All you gotta do is write that down. Like if I am still alive on this day, that's it right there.
well, I'm just saying if I knew the day, I don't want to know the exact time or the how, but knowing the day gives me the opportunity to make my ends meet, make peace with my family. My family knows it's coming. I can tell certain people. I probably wouldn't tell everyone, but
So you'd rather know when than how?
yeah, I wouldn't want to know the how. But if I could know the day, like, hey, on this day, you're for sure, this is the day you're dying. Then I know, hey, for real, I got 2 weeks. Matt, we better eat some lunch, dog. It's going to be the last one. You paying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I probably borrow $20 off of you. Let me know $20. I get you next
Hell
time.
that. We're dining and dashing and flipping tables over on the way. We're doing an English
Yeah,
exit.
but I think I can see the benefits of knowing. I mean, sure, it'd be,
I don't know.
I'm sure
But
it'd be a
like
lot
that-
of anxiety coming up to the day.
Yeah,
but
of course.
but at least you get to say goodbye to your loved ones. Your loved ones get closure.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You have to cook on it for that long. What if you knew how? Like, if they said a car crash and you were like, fuck, I'm never getting in a car again. Like,
And then like a car falls on me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the way it works.
Yeah.
That's why I say I just want to know.
All right, well, fair enough. I was just
Like-
giving the other side of that coin. Like I think there's benefits to knowing.
30 years from now, you're gonna get caught in a tractor auger and wound up, and crushed to death. Like, I'd be like, shit. You're thinking about this shit every day. Like, nah, that's gonna suck real bad.
But you wouldn't enjoy the 30 years you had.
No, I'd probably wind up like fucking doing something. I'd be like, fuck that. I'm going to die before that. I'm going to like, I'm going out on my own accord.
Yeah.
And that is your own accord, though. Fair enough. Next question.
I just hope
Fair
it's-
enough. Next
I
question.
just hope it's funny. So like I get to make a joke on the way out.
Well, we know to infuse you with barbecue sauce.
Barbecue. Collect my skull. You want to talk about some BDSM stuff?
I don't know what that means anymore.
You seem to be in the mood.
I'm always in the mood.
You're like all gloomy all of a sudden.
I'm gloomy.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
You keep cutting your bedroom lights around this mic. You can't leave it alone.
Hey, bud. Hey there.
I follow you to this side. I follow you to this side. Your bedroom lights are dreamy. All right, so a weird fact. I'll give you one.
Put MDMA.
The inventor of a Pringles can is now buried in one. How about that? How's that make you feel?
I was trying to think of another product with an interesting package, but I don't know. Like, I guess a little one or a big one. Like they fucking.
I don't know. It was 1966, so probably only had the one size back then.
You think they cremated them?
Well, I imagine they cremated them.
Or you don't think they built like a 6-foot Pringles can and stuffed them in there? And
He
rolled them in?
communicated his burial wishes to his family, and then when he died at the age of 89, his children stopped at Walgreens on the way to the funeral home to buy his burial Pringles can. They did have one decision to make, though. My siblings and I briefly debated what flavor to use. The eldest son, Larry, made the decision and said, "Look, we just need to use original." So he's buried in an original Pringles can after being cremated.
Isn't that lovely?
I guess. Now, there you go. Ask me your BDM is BS. Is it BSDDM?
Yeah. MSD. BD. Yeah. MS. You ready?
I'm ready. Is it a test?
No, it's not so much about like last time. Like maybe just because people here is talking about that, and they really. I mean, there's a lot of people don't know what the fuck is going on. Like
You're
you're
six viewers don't know.
right. So you're a BDSM master, and you roll your
I'd say dominant. I just identify more of the master side.
right, but you right.
Yeah.
Right. But like just for me observing, you run a pretty tight house, and you're pretty big on discipline and whatnot. I was wondering if you could speak on that, like how you dole out discipline, or how often you need to dole out discipline and that sort of thing. How you handle it, how you run a tight ship.
I mean, tight ship, huh? You really think I thought I was pretty loosey goosey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Pretty lazy with it. You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I don't get that. You seem to have it all together. You're a scheduled person, and you do everything on routine, and you've got all your rules and shit set up. It's a lot more.
I
than most
obviously got you fooled. I mean, discipline comes, man. I mean, it comes in. I would say first for myself, honestly, because I'm harder on myself than anything. So when
Right.
when something does go wrong, I just automatically.
I think you're beating yourself up because we don't have any material.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
should be.
look, don't worry about that shit, man. We're good.
No, I'm not. I got plenty of material.
I know. I just know you were. I feel like you were beating yourself up because you weren't as prepared as you would like to have
Oh,
been.
look. That's the damn problem.
Yeah.
You searching your pockets for another bottle?
I got my flask on me. No, I don't carry a flask.
No, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, discipline starts with me first. But there are times I have to discipline my submissives.
Right. So you get up pretty early and stuff like that. I mean, you got your daily routine that you do for yourself and shit like that. I mean, probably a lot more than regular people. I mean, that's probably a habit left over from the military and stuff like that.
That's fair.
And it's cool. It's like I feel like that's part of your personality too. But
That's why it's hard when I have sleepovers at your place, Matt.
yeah.
Yeah, because you like to sleep in, and
I don't like to sleep in, man. I mean, I do sometimes, but like, I don't get up at 5 o'clock on the dot every morning. Like sometimes I'll go through stints where I do that, but like my life's a little, like I have unforeseen things happen often that don't like.
I mean, I'm just saying, when I'm
Like,
there,
farm life is
when I'm
crazy.
there, you're normally sleeping in.
That's because we've been up till 3 in the morning, and you get up at 4:30, and I party hard. I got to recoup. But so like at your house, if you have to discipline somebody, like a lot of people that are listening, like
Yeah,
they don't
explain-
have discipline for their partners.
Yeah, and I understand. Explain to the listener, the average listener, what the discipline and what you're actually asking, so they could understand it better.
Okay.
What
so,
you mean by that?
Okay, so you have rules in your house that your wife, your slave, or any of your other subordinates. We're not talking about family. We're talking about
Sure, yeah.
partners and stuff. They have rules they have to follow. They have protocols and way things are supposed to be done, way you're supposed to be addressed. I mean, what else? Like, what along those lines do you have?
They have what your protocols or rituals that they would do every day. I won't tell you what they are in detail because they're pretty personal and private, as you know. Some of those are some of those first morning,
some of them,
and
like-
the evening routines. But whether it be coffee service in the morning, I like to have my coffee in the morning. So,
And you want it a certain way.
I like to have it a certain way, and then what we got going on in the house is, so if somebody was over, we actually got a coffee service color palette, if you will. I mean, I went to Home Depot. You go over to the paint section aisle.
Yeah.
Just pick out all the colors that you would want coffee or your guest may want. So if you come to the house, they would bring you the color palette, and you would just pick out which color you want your coffee to look like. So if you don't want no cream, it's
Oh,
gonna
really?
yeah, it's going to be on this side. So if you want a lot of cream, you just point to this one, and then they'll make it that way and ask you how much sugar you
That's
want.
very specific.
So I mean, but it's very easy too. Instead of asking and going into detail how you want your coffee, it's just color coordinated. You can look and point to, I'd like to have this one, thank you. And
Right.
we're moving on.
Well, I guess on that, like, I mean, a lot of people would have. I mean, in a lot of vanilla relationships, they would have problems even getting somebody to make them a cup of coffee. Like, there's a lot of sassy ass women in this country. They'll be
I've
like,
been in
make your own
vanilla.
fucking coffee, that type of shit. So,
Right,
how do you make it? Like, how do you imply that, like, they're to be following that? Like,
Well, that's a precedent that's set up front before the relationship even begins,
yeah,
and that's the part of living in the BDSM lifestyle versus not living, and then you're living in a vanilla lifestyle where, for lack of better terms, it's a roll of the die. Right? You just hope this one ain't crazy as fuck, and we're gonna find out. But it's gonna take you 3 months or 4 months or 3 dates to find out exactly if you're gonna mesh with someone or not. Whereas in the BDSM lifestyle, you get to put the hard questions up front, as you know.
yeah.
And in doing so, that's the precedent that's going to be set. So knowing already that I'm a BDS, I identify as a dominant, and this person identifies as a submissive. Going through that process, the questions are asked, the hard questions up front. So you already know if you're going to be a match when it comes to a dynamic, whether it have sex or no sex. It doesn't have to, there's service submissive.
Right. So you have people that are naturally inclined to be submissive. That was part of signing up.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, like, they know that if I ask for a cup of coffee, they know they're going to make a cup of coffee. Whereas in your example was there's people out here that I can't get my woman to make me a cup of coffee. Well, that's because you entered into a vanilla relationship and you didn't set the precedents up front.
Okay, so let's just use that as an example.
Sure.
Say somebody's having an off morning, whatever, and you want a cup of coffee, but they're slacking off, or they're not being attentive, or they outright refuse. How would you handle that? I mean, just for the listeners, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, honestly, like that wouldn't happen. I mean, it just would, like, no one would be like, no, go make your own damn coffee. Like, I can read a room. right? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm smart enough to read a room. If things are going on in the dynamic and she might be a little pissed off because she got a spanking yesterday or I corrected her earlier in the day and put her on the spot, right? Might not be the best time for me to ask for a cup of coffee. So I can also read a room and fix my own damn coffee, which would also imply to her, my slave, that would bother her more.
Right.
That I get up and make my own coffee versus me saying, hey, go make me a cup of coffee. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. I get
So that's how I would handle that situation.
Right. Go make it yourself and make them feel bad for not making it.
Yeah. And then I'll say things, passive aggressively as I do it.
Yeah, I get it. Do this shit to me all day long. That's why we got Sweet TC.
I just asked if he was breaking something.
Yeah.
But I will like to touch on one of the, I call it maintenance discipline. And because you was asking about.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
You were asking about discipline, right?
Yeah, but now you got more questions popped up for that.
Oh.
So let's talk about like, we'll come back. Give me this pen. So like, okay, so other than just services and stuff that are and the rituals, I'm sure you've got like rules that aren't supposed to be broken type rules that can warrant like corporal punishment.
Yeah, sure.
So you want maybe like give us 2 or 3 of those and like
I could tell you a time to be home.
uh-huh.
And if you wasn't home before curfew was up, then that would be you paddling.
Yeah.
Punishment's different. That's why I was going to talk about maintenance discipline and punish discipline, because there's 2 types of discipline.
Okay.
There's levels of discipline, I guess you could say, and what's adequate to the situation you're involved in.
So let's talk about maintenance discipline. What do you mean by that?
It's just taking care of your equipment, basically, just like anything else. Maintenance on your relationship, maintenance discipline is maintenance on your submissive from the dominant. So so you don't have a bratty submissive who acts out all the time or acts up just to get a spanking because she wants a little spanking or she wants some attention, right?
That's something that happens. Some people will act up in order, like masochists will act up in order just to get a punishment. Sometimes it's a subconscious thing happening, but I want to make that clear to people that
For me, punishments are not fun.
right.
I don't like to punish, and it makes me feel bad. It hurts my feeling, much less whoever I'm punishing, right? But so
Not a whole lot of fun in it.
no, there's no fun. So I don't want some little bratty submissive that wants to break the rules and get in trouble just so she can get a spanking, because it puts me in a whole different headspace.
Right.
And punishment for me, there's no warm up. There's no, hey, we're gonna start between the blue jeans, and then we're gonna start with floggers, and then go to this.
No music playing.
No, there's no music playing. You're dropping trowel, and I use what I know the tool is that they don't like. Whatever that tool is that they absolutely can't stand. And generally, it's a paddle.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's your punishment tool. Like there's no warm up. It's just what it is. And when it's over, there's a conversation. And the beautiful part of being in this lifestyle and dynamics is there's bonding after that, right? That's that aftercare where you have the conversation so it don't happen again, right? Because I don't want to feel like shit. I don't want her to feel like shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the maintenance discipline is where you come in on top of that, so before that don't happen.
Yeah.
Right? So now I'm just giving the spanking because I know she needs a spanking.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to give her that clear her conscience and give her that cathartic release, and she's going to enjoy it. And it's going to give me opportunity to scratch my sadistic itches.
And what are we talking about? The maintenance discipline here?
Yeah.
And what's that look like?
I mean, it could be once a week. It could be every 2 weeks. It could be, excuse me, it could be daily, depending on how bratty of a person your submissive is.
Yeah, but like, what do you say? Like,
now
you look like you need your ass whooped. Come over here and I'm gonna whoop your ass real quick.
Well, basically, like I can see when I know my submissives, so I can see when it's coming along, right? And I'm like, oh, I can just see that you need your ass whooped. So, and what does it look like? It looks more like a scene. It doesn't look like a punishment discipline. It's more, there's a warm up and different tools.
Right.
So it's not like the punishment.
Right.
And it's enjoyed more for both of us.
So, like, you and I both got started in BDSM like in different ways. You came up like I remember you telling me about how you got into it, and you were pretty young when it happened, and you actually went through the rigors of like being vetted by the old timers and apprenticing and stuff like that, I guess you would say.
Yeah, it's done much different today in today's time than it was back in the 90s. It's before everyone had an internet and the Wi-Fi was kicking around. Before you could look at anything you wanted to up on Google. Back before you had to learn something mouth to ear.
Right.
Somebody actually had to tell you. Someone had to actually show you and teach you how to do something. So, yeah, back then it was actually 6 months is what it took to get into that community, which was a really large community, and that was in El Paso, Texas, but which is a really large community. But to get to be a member of their community, if you will, and accepted, you had to go through their classes, and it sounds bad, like 6 months, but it's just one time a month. They're like, listen, if you can't dedicate one day a month, one evening a month to come over here and learn something, then we don't want you in the fucking community anyway.
Right.
And you got to do that for 6 months. And the first 3 months is just talking. It's just literature. It's just education. It's just getting to know the people that are involved in this community and who your mentors are going to be. And that's 3 months, right?
Did they assign you a mentor?
No, they changed per class. Like, and it was nice because then you get because it's different perspectives. It's not always a master or dominant. You know what I'm saying? There's slaves, and so like you get different perspectives. And I'm new, so you're just soaking it up like a sponge, and they know that, and that's why they do that. For the first 3 months, it's just literature and education, and then the last 3 months they had to bring some tools and some toys and let you play, and they start teaching you with hands on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, it's just 6 months of getting to know people. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like that's like? Is that where you've gotten like your protocols and routines and like rule structures and stuff like that? Was that taught to you back then, or I mean, I know they've evolved and
right.
you've
I would say
tapered
that.
in your own route, but did they give you a basic outline?
They did, yeah. Like I would say, I'm very much old guard theory.
Yeah.
And being in the military, it just kind of really fit. That whole old guard mentality.
Yeah.
And I think that you just lose a lot of the finesse over the years because now people think that, well, you can learn about anything online. Well, you can really learn it, but you really just can't learn how to do it. And those finesses I feel have been lost over the decades and over time, right? And it's like hand signals. I'm big on hand signals in my house. I enjoy being able to control my submissive from across a crowded room. Those are things that you really don't see anymore when it comes to the finesses I'm talking about that gets lost over time.
Right. You want to spend 10 seconds talking about hand signals? Like what that actually means to somebody that doesn't know?
It's just a matter of, being, okay, so I might live a BDSM lifestyle 24/7.
Yep.
But I live a vanilla life. I mean, I have to. I got kids that don't know that I live a BDSM lifestyle. Right, so I got to live my lifestyle in a vanilla way, in a vanilla world, if I can say it that way.
Right.
I live a BDSM lifestyle in a vanilla world. You got to go to schools, you got teacher meetings. You just can't walk around calling someone slave all the time or master all the time, or
sit down, slut,
or hey, daddy, from across the room. But so there's just certain things that you need to be able to say without saying them. In front of people who don't know what you're doing anyway, and those are just common hand signals that someone else wouldn't even know what I did or said.
like hand command, like signal commands.
Yeah, it's no different than sign language.
Right.
It's just my own sign language.
Give us 3 of them.
Well, the first 4 digits on you. That's 4 different positions right there.
What's the first 2 mean?
That's attention. That would be parade rest. I mean, it's just this is hands behind your back. That's more of a control.
Yeah.
But if I wanted her to do something like I could brush my shoulder or tap my chest.
And these are like actual positions that she has to assume with her body when she sees these signals.
Right.
Like people don't understand that. Like,
Right, or I can tell her to find somebody or hold somebody's hand, bring them to me. Think of a third base coach. You ever watch baseball? Yeah, it's like a third base coach. It's just, so I could be brushing my shoulder off, but she sees something and I want some tea, with no lemon.
Yeah.
But a lot of that gets lost over the years. You don't get to see that a lot anymore because a lot of people are self-taught online, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, because you can learn, you can read, you can see a lot of literature, and you can learn it that way. But until you actually get out there and experience it,
yeah. Do you know any resources for somebody that would want to learn like that? Or like, what would you suggest to somebody that wanted to? I mean, that sort of thing doesn't really exist anymore. I mean, in every area, like
well, that's correct. I honestly, like, it really depends on your location and where you at. But I would say get out into your local community for just an afternoon munch.
find a mentor.
Well, just go into munches. You just listen to people talk. Like you don't even have to have a lot of knowledge in what you're looking to learn. But you're going to learn a lot about people just listening to them talk.
Yeah,
right.
I know a lot of the leather crowd. I mean, people might not know what that is, but there's a lot of people that, like, as far as they go along, they get different leather items and stuff. It's a whole different, like, subsect. But I know a lot of them still sort of go by old guard rules and stuff like that. That might be a good, I don't know. If there's any of those guys left over in your area, it might be a good way to start,
Yeah, but getting out into a local munch, just to meet the people. Because meeting people with their clothes on the first time is much easier than trying to have a conversation when you go to an event and you got titties laying out there. Just
people all in different moods.
Big time. You know, somebody might be crying over here, coming down. Going through aftercare while somebody's getting their ass beat over here,
walking around looking like this.
I'm just saying, so going to a munch would be probably the best bet. And I'm not saying you're going to find every level of expertise at your local munch. I'm just saying it would be a good place to start.
And where could somebody find that? Like where would anybody?
The classifieds of your local newspaper. Go down to the store.
Poster board.
The laundromat. You see those pull tabs.
Make some of those.
I mean, honestly, I'd say just for local events, check out fetlife.com. I'm sure there's probably other avenues of finding out, but I don't know those. That's normally how I find my events is FetLife.
Yeah. The people go on there and okay.
Okay. Okay.
There's a lot of hands. All right.
FetLife.
FetLife. Go on FetLife and find out. I guess we want to give a shout out to our producer here, Kenny Kivett Photography. He's got a little podcast incubator set up here in his photography studio. So if you think you might like to start a podcast and you're in the Charlotte area, contact him on Facebook and you might be able to work something out. And we really
Beta male. What the fuck?
You can find us on Facebook,
Keep talking, man.
Twitter,
Y'all hold it down out there.
FetLife, Instagram. Email us some questions. If you have any questions, we don't have a lot of listeners, so if you have some questions. So if you have some questions,
The Bash Brothers Show at gmail.com.
you have a very high percentage of your questions being answered.
We're going to be so fucking excited.
Yeah, we'll be
Like, everybody's going to know
excited.
that shit in the group chat quick. All right, man. So we're the Bash Brothers. I'm Chef Dre. This is Mountain Matt. We're going to get out of your hair. Until next time, just remember, dimming someone else's light won't make yours shine any brighter. So don't be a dick. Until next time, stay safe, make good choices, and always stay kinky.
That's good.
Oh. Man,
We need a couple more samples.
I need a dab. That's
You
what the hell I
guys
need.
fucking glide when you start